Hey guys, it is Rapmark here. So, finally doing my long delayed review for Malignant. Yes, it is about a week late. I apologize. Crazy times. Uh, but anyway, let's get on with that. So, it is the latest horror film by James Wan. And what did I think of this movie? I enjoyed this movie. I actually really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to watch. Um, the slashing elements were very very cool. Uh, it did have a bit of camp to it as well. Uh, but yeah, ultimately, I enjoyed this. I mean, I thought it was better than say Candyman. This one at least kept to the formula of it being a horror film, and I mean, honestly, I'm not sure if I could fully recommend. It depends on what you like. See, the thing with this movie is that it has all the elements of good horror, and it goes into camp in a way where it's fun, and some of the parts are implausible, but it also like has some inconsistencies in terms of certain things like. There were some parts which I felt that were meant to be scary, where it was just kind of like, mm, and it was tropey. It was very tropey. If you are not the one who likes tropey type of horror, this is probably not the movie for you because it relies on a lot of tropes. You know, people doing stupid things, uh, sort of forcing the plot along, and honestly, it's just I wouldn't put this on like my top horror franchises, but I do think in terms of horror franchises, it does rank amongst the mid tier. So I wouldn't put it as better than like Freddy Krueger or Jason. Those are pretty top tier, but it also ranks better than, in my opinion, say The Nun, again, Candyman, not the original Candyman, but the new one. Um, but yeah, it was a fun watch. I'm glad I saw it. I did see it in theaters. Um, it's I thought that the acting was adequate. There was some bad writing, obviously. I mean, horror like it's it's hard to find a good horror that doesn't have some bad writing in it somewhere. And I do felt that there was, in terms of the entity, the creature, or whatever, which I'll get to in spoilers. It seemed a little bit inconsistent. Of like, at one point it takes out just dozens of people, and then at one point it is having trouble against like one person. So it's a little inconsistent on that. There are a few other things, but ultimately it hit all the things right. You definitely can see that it was fairly high budget. Um, I mean, horror films are really cheap to make. This one, you can see that there were good backdrops. There was a lot of just high quality like backdrops. Again, the lighting was good. I enjoyed the effort that was put into this. I just think, in terms of certain inconsistencies, again, so, like, it was campy, but it didn't go into like, like maybe Evil Dead. I would compare, where it's just like this is a fun, campy, like, you know, yet somewhat graphic. And that one wasn't very graphic. What else could I envision it to? I don't know. I don't know. I know a lot of really bad ones. I mean, and one is like Evil Bong, Ginger Dead Man. I don't know. Uh, but yeah, it felt like it didn't have enough camp to hit that fun level, but enough to where it was just like, this is a decent horror film. So, I mean, I don't really know much more to say on top of that. The music was kind of off kilter at times. Uh, like it would hit at the right spots, but it would only last for like a certain amount of time, and that I kind of wasn't impressed with. But I did like some of the like there's flickering lights, and when the entity arrives, like so lights flicker. You don't know what's going on, and there are a few twists in it. I mean, most of them, if you know like tropes and you pay attention to the movie, you'll see them coming from a mile away. So, but I think it did its job, and I actually really enjoyed it. So, what would I give this film? I'd probably give this a 7 out of 10. It was above average. You know, I mean, it's not for everybody. I personally would recommend seeing it. It's better than a lot of other garbage that has come out this year. Um, but yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. And I think that will be it for that. Let's go into the spoiler section and we will talk about it then. So I will see you then. See you guys. Hey guys, it is Rapmark again, here with our spoiler section. So, going into Malignant. So, right off the start, you are in this like hospital, this crazy like asylum type special hospital. Uh, and there is a child, which, so Gabriel, where it's just like the doctor's talking like, we thought I could save him, but they were wrong. And so they go in, it's just like, and this, and Gabriel is like, he's just like killing people, just tearing people apart. And you don't see the face, you just see this sort of creature entity, and the main doctor is just like, it's time to cut out the cancer. And that's how it starts. And then and there that was a scene that was very plagued with kind of bad writing. There were some cringe-worthy lines in that, but a decent setup. And then you go into uh, this house. It's somewhere else. So, and what is her name? Madison. There we go. Let me pull this up real quick. All right. So yeah, Madison. There we go. She's pregnant. She's returning home. You kind of meet her husband, who apparently had alcohol problems. Uh, Hit her. I guess he kind of blames her for. She's had two other miscarriages. Um, so after she tries to stand up to him, he slams her head against the wall, splits it open, and he tries to like get water, and but she locks him out of it. And so there you have the first contact with the entity, um, and it is actually really cool. The boyfriend doesn't know what's going on. Lights are flickering off and on, doors are open, and you're just like, okay, what's going on? And then you go in, you see the TV on, and you see the shadow of a figure just sitting there watching TV. And then he turns on the light, and the shadow's gone. It's like poof. And as he's looking around, he gets killed. He gets, yeah, just totally mangled. And Madison wakes up, finds him dead, and the entity is still there. Like, it attacks her, and in that attack, her unborn baby did not survive. So she has a sister, Sydney, and you find out a little later that she is adopted, and she's so she goes and to be in this house by herself again, and that's one of those tropey things where it's just like, why would you do this? Uh, a little silly, but yeah. After, so she decides to stay there, and her sister comes, visits her a lot. Apparently, they were very close, but after she got married, they kind of distanced themselves. It was so you kind of get some background on the story, and then at that point, it kind of goes into this scene of the Seattle Underground where another woman is being kidnapped, gets kidnapped, and you have no clue who this woman is. Like, it's completely like, why, what's going on here? Like, and you think that, it's a separate entity because, like, again, the attack, it kind of throws you for a loop. I mean, you find out later, and this is spoiler, so again, that she's essentially like a Siamese twin. So there was a bit of her sibling who didn't fully develop in the womb. It kind of comes out like when you see it at towards the end. It's like got these little tiny arms and this face, and it's hideous. It's horrible, and they share a brain. So, but apparently he's evil. He just wants revenge. He becomes a monster, and so they decide to cut him out. But because they share a brain, they can't fully take him out. So they cut off all the little bits, the arms, the body, what's left, and all that's left is like the face and a little bit of head. So they push that in. How that doesn't kill her, who knows? Uh, again, a little bit of wonkiness, a little bit of camp, but it is what it is. So they sew him up inside of her skull, and apparently, when the husband slams her in the head, it splits it open. He comes out, but he's also been essentially feeding on the unborn fetuses because it's a parasitic embryo essentially, or like twin. It's parasitic, feeds off of her, so it fed off of them. And after her, like, it tries to get her to kill her little sister Sydney in the womb because it's just like, oh, she's born, she won't need me anymore. And it's crazy. Like, this thing, it can't talk, so but it has control over like electricity somehow. Whether or not that'll come into play if they turn this into a franchise, I don't know. Who knows? But so after she's born, he's a forgotten. He's an afterthought until she gets married, and then he just starts, you know, making her miscarry all of her fetuses. So yeah, that's sort of the backstory of that. But yeah, she starts seeing these visions. Uh, she sees it killing Dr. Weaver, the main doctor from the very first scene. Uh, Sees that murder, and then kills her, kills another doctor, and she just has these visions while this is happening. So what is the detective's name? That is Shaw. Okay, Shaw and Moss. So apparently everyone wants to bang the male detective, which is a little bit weird. So yeah, Kikoa Shaw. That's an interesting name. I don't know where that came from. And then Regina Moss. Yeah, that's his partner. So she doesn't take any shit. Very very to the point. They start to investigate. So Dr. Weaver, they find a photo of Madison as a child. So Weaver, she specialized in child reconstructive surgery. So again, reconstructing the whole uh, Siamese twins type thing. So as they know, that she and her sister go visit the mother, finds out that Gabriel was an imaginary friend, but someone real with whom she spoke in childhood. And from there, they find out that the team that worked on her, Gabriel is trying to kill. So yeah, Dr. Gregory gets killed, another one of them. Apparently, Gabriel is able to control her. Essentially, so what she's seeing is she sees everything falling away. I did like the effect. The effect was very cool. Um, and essentially she's trapped in her own body. He's controlling her body, and it's kind of weird because it's like backwards. Like when you take a look at him, it's it's a little crazy mask. Like you can kind of at some points you can tell it's a mask, but I mean it's this really undeveloped face. It's super crazy. But yeah, like through this, like the cops start to suspect that Madison is guilty of all these murders. And when the woman who was kidnapped, the mysterious woman, comes and falls through the roof, again, that looks very bad. So Madison's birth name is Madison May. The woman is Serena May, so that is her birth mother. So that's where we go into that. All right, so that's why. So the yeah, when you see the killer, it looks very unnatural. Everything's like backwards. It almost looks like a spider crawl when they go on all fours. But and the power level is like straight, like it kills these guys, and it's just like, wow, is it super powered or whatever? It kind of is strong, but then the shot ends up chasing and actually gets the upper head or the upper hand on Gabriel, hashtag Madison. And it's just like, what? Because then we're going to get to a part which is just super wonky. it's kind of crazy. So they're t- they're attacked, and but she's arrested first. Uh, and then while the precinct, like there's this really bitchy woman who like just antagonizes, and eventually kicks her, and then just keeps kicking her, and you're just like, oh gosh, what's gonna happen? And then she starts seizing, and then her skull opens up, and you see Gabriel's face like open up, and at that point you realize, oh, they're not two separate entities. That thing is still attached, and at this point, like they're also watching like VSH tapes. Good grief, that made me feel so old. Yeah, I remember those days. Good old VHS. I had quite the collection. It's gone now. Rip VHS. But yeah, so they find out, yeah, the whole thing on the surgery, on the team of doctors that have been killed. Um, yeah, it's really weird. But anyway, she wakes. So Gabriel wakes up, takes control of her, and just kills everyone in the cell. Then grabs a guard. Why he's up to the freaking gate when he has a gun? He could be freaking miles away, and just beats his head in, and then proceeds to kill everyone in the police precinct. And it's just like, what? Like, this is nuts. Like, it's dodging bullets. It's freaking crawling up on the ceiling. It's bouncing from the walls. It's really crazy. So Regina, she gets kind of slashed in the stomach, and her sister kind of sits there and is waiting for the paramedics. So Shaw takes off, goes after Madison slash Gabriel, and they're at the hospital where their birth mother is. So he goes in to kill her. Madison starts taking a little bit of control, and then her sister Sydney comes in, and well, she doesn't start taking control, but she's like trying to fight it. Um, but yeah, Gabriel takes a table, throws it up, and squishes her, and then you see him shoot her in the head, and then suffocate their birth mother, saying that he's a monster, that her giving him up had turned him into a monster, and at that point, Madison takes control, and apparently she was in control the whole time, and she did the same thing that he did to her, making him believe that he'd done all those things, but no, her sister's still alive, the birth mother's still alive, and then she proceeds to trap him in a prison within his mind, which is also horribly tropey. And I mean, it just sounds like I don't like that. Like, this was an entertaining movie. This wasn't a great movie. This wasn't a great horror film, but it was entertaining. I do put it in the mid tier. But anyway, so he gets trapped. She comes back and frees her sister, and then they have words with the mother, and it never really reveals after that like what is going to happen, because I mean she's just killed an entire police precinct. Uh, so does she go to jail? Are they going to legally determine that he's a separate entity, so she can't be guilty for all that? Who knows? So there's a lot of question marks at the end. There's a lot of inconsistencies. But at the end of the day, I did find this movie pretty entertaining. Enjoyed it. Again, I gave it 7 out of 10. It probably isn't for everyone, especially if you are not fond of tropes and are kind of sick of them. But it is decent, especially again with all the other crap that has come out lately. So 7 out of 10. That's my thoughts. So I guess I will see you guys the next time on this. So you have a good one, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.